Hello, Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. I hope you all are doing well. Today's session is going to be very informative. We are going to discuss quite a few things, and I hope this session will prove fruitful for all the language enthusiasts. And learning a language obviously takes time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It will definitely take time. And having said that, it is also not something which cannot be mastered. It can be mastered by anyone, provided that that individual has a willingness to master the skill of English. He or she will definitely be able to get a commanding grasp on the English language. The topic that I have today is going to be world of words. So I'm going to share with you the world of words, and in this session truly is going to be fruitful, right? And the session is going to be like very interesting because it will be in the form of a story. So I'll be giving you words in a story form, so that they'll be easy for you to memorize and remember for a long period of time. That's obviously the ultimate aim of this very live session. The very first word that we have here is abundant. And along with abundant, we would be having another word which is taken aback. Now, taken aback means when somebody gets surprised, or when somebody gets astonished by something or by someone. Your girlfriend asks you to telephone her between 7 and 8 p.m. That is the time when she expects her date to be out of the house. You ring her up at 7:15, expecting a "hi darling" response from her, from the other end. But the voice that falls in your ears is that of her date. What happens to you? Obviously, you are expecting your girlfriend to respond to you, but instead of her father responds. So that has to be a bit like, surprising, and that essentially, just astonishes you or surprises you. And this is something that I'm going to share with you. So you are taken aback. You are shocked because you hear something unpleasant and unexpected. You were not expecting this, which happens to you. You then cannot respond at once, right? You think, why did she lie to me? I mean, why didn't she respond? Why did her father respond instead of her? So that's a kind of, gut feeling that you conjured or you developed. So you start feeling cheated, right? You decide to abandon her. That's why you decide to leave her completely and forever. To abandon something is to leave something forever, to stop doing it, to forsake something, to relinquish something, or to desert something or someone, to leave them forever and to never get back to them. Like, your health is getting weak, and your health is deteriorating. I mean, your health is getting worse. You need to abandon smoking. And if you don't abandon smoking, it would be detrimental to your sound health. So you've got to give up on smoking. And if you don't give up on smoking, smoking would definitely jeopardize your health and your well-being. So that's one thing that we are discussing here. And then obviously when you do not get the desired response, so you feel cheated, and you just want to abandon her all at once forever, or desert her, as I mentioned. And then it comes to your mind, why not to abduct her, to kidnap her, right? This is just a story, okay, for vocabulary. That would teach both her and her father a lesson. So now you have that feeling of vengeance, or that feeling of revenge, and you essentially want to teach them a lesson, right? So yeah. And the next day you meet her in college, she notices an aberration in your behavior. You do not behave in your usual manner. Now, to notice an aberration in someone's behavior means to find the behavior of that individual slightly different, slightly unusual. And that's a kind of phenomenon which is referred to as an aberration. You can say that last night I came late from my office, and on the way I saw a huge crowd of people standing before my house. It was a complete aberration, because this has never happened before in my life, and that was the first time that it happened. And obviously it essentially astonished me, and it sort of shocked me that what was going on. I felt there was something fishy, or there was something wrong, either with my family or with my neighbors. So I was like, taken aback, right? So aberration is that kind of phenomena. So aberration is a noun, and the adjective form of aberration would be aberrant, an aberrant behavior. So she wonders what has led to this aberrant behavior. Like, she wonders why your behavior has become so aberrant, why you have changed all of a sudden. So she's kind of willing to know what really has gone wrong with you. You've truly given her the test of her own medicine. You've taken her to task, and you've left her to sink or swim, right? So now she wants to know whether what has really gone amiss with you, and why you are behaving in that unusual manner. All right, and why are you behaving like this? Charmed by her innocence, your plan of abducting her falls into abeyance. Now, if something falls into abeyance, it means you stop doing it, or you delay doing it, or you sort of postpone doing it. Abeyance, A-B-Y-E-A-N-C-E, abeyance. Now, abeyance is a noun essentially, so something falls into abeyance. Like, I can give you an example that in our country, when government wants to initiate any project, unfortunately, that project falls into abeyance. A-B-E-Y-A-N-C-E, abeyance. So abeyance means to get delayed, or to get deferred, or to get postponed, right? So she then tells you that you are the person I literally can't live without. So then you sort of start feeling somehow sympathy for her. You become empathetic, and you show empathy. You can no longer essentially afford to become apathetic. Now these are other two words: empathy, sympathy, or pathy, or apathetic, or rather pathetic, or telepathy. These all are different words, but there is one thing in common in all these words, and that one thing is pathy. Now, it's a root word, by the way. Pathy means feelings, right? So if you have empathy for someone, empathy would essentially be friendly kind of feeling, good feeling, right? And if you have sympathy, again, sympathy is a good feeling. It's not bad, it's good. So when you have empathy for someone, you essentially sympathize with him or her or with them. And apathy means no feelings. Now, a is a prefix and pathy is another morpheme. So apathy means no feeling, and apathetic something which is bad, which is repulsive, which is quite repugnant, nauseating, and something that really makes you feel bad. So that's referred to as apathetic, right? So I mean, you sort of change your plan. You were angry, you were indignant, you were in indignation, you were enraged, or rather you were incandescent with anger, but all of a sudden you decide to change your plan and show a bit mercy, and sort of accept her. Otherwise, the sword of Damocles was hanging over her. She must have smelled the rate that something was fishy, or rather something was rotten at the state of Denmark, but you kind of try to reconcile, and you somehow sank your differences, and you befriended again and got on well with each other, right? So the best way to remember vocabulary is to practice in sentences, to make to utilize them in paragraphs, in stories, and to make them the part of your day-to-day discourse, day-to-day conversation, day-to-day discussion. That would really make it quite easy for you to get a sound command on vocabulary. And if in case you're not doing that, it would definitely become a bit tough or a bit tricky. Now I'm going to just share with you some idioms, right, that we use commonly. Like the very first idiom that we have is to add insult to injury, or to to fan the flames, or to add fuel to the fire. Yesterday I was not feeling well, and all of a sudden my younger cousin came in. He started playing loud music, which literally added salt to my injury. That literally, just made me more indignant, or that literally got on my nerves and just made me fly into rage. That was pretty much enraging. That was quite outrageous what my younger cousin did last night. So see, and this is what you do, and this is how you can improve your vocabulary, and you can develop a very good command on vocabulary if you start using them in a proper context, in sentences. It would essentially be very much rewarding. In the same way, we can make another sentence of one other idiom, which is very common. I think most of us know this: to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Now that means to be born in a rich family, and to have a lot of privilege by birth, and like you don't need to do anything because Allah has already given you much. God has already blessed you very much. You are born in a rich family, and then obviously you would not need to do anything in order to survive. Like, we are now living in age of competition, and only those can survive who are the fittest. So it is the game of the fittest. If you're not the fittest, you cannot survive. So you can say that one of my friends doesn't do anything. Nonetheless, he has almost every luxury that one can think of. So, I believe that he is born with a silver spoon in his mouth, because he gets all the luxuries of life, though he does nothing. So it all comes down to one thing, which is, having been born in a rich family or in a well-off family. And my friend essentially is living in, in affluence. All right. At the same time, a bolt from the blue. Now, a bolt from the blue is another idiom. It's another idiomatic expression. Now, this would essentially means an unexpected disaster. Like, you were not expecting something, and it happens, or it happened. The news of my friend's death was literally a bolt from the blue. I mean, I was devastated when I heard that news. So it literally, just shocked me, the news of my friend's death, right? And then we can have another expression for it, to blow one's own trumpet. Now, to blow your own trumpet would mean to praise yourself or to admire yourself. As it is said in English, rather it's a proverb, that self-praise is no recommendation. Yet a lot of people do it. So you can say that my relative is in the habit of blowing his own trumpet. I mean, he always does it, and he's very fond of it. And he does not refrain from doing it or from blowing his own trumpet. He always blows it and is extremely fond of it, right? So this is another very, very important idiom that, or an expression that one must be, cognizant of. Now, to be cognizant of something, my dear viewers, means to be aware of something, or to be informed of something, or to be educated about something, to be cognizant of something. So I am cognizant of your financial crisis. I am cognizant of the fact that you have been fired from your job. I know that, I'm aware of it, and it's known to me. Similarly, there is another expression with a similar, word, and that is take cognizance of something. Now, when you take cognizance of something, so you take notice of something. You note something, right? You get information about something. So that's one thing. And then there is another idiomatic expression, that is to cast an aspersion on someone. Now, to cast an aspersion on someone definitely means to defame someone or defile someone or use derogatory term against someone or to malign someone, right? So that's what it means, to cast an aspersion on someone. You probably defame that person. You bring disgrace on that person. This is what it means to cast an aspersion on someone. To cry over spilt milk. We know that, what it means. When you have got into crisis, or when something bad has happened, then, there is no use of crying over it, right? So if it has happened, then try to bear with it and try to accept it, that yes, it is a loss. This tragedy has befallen on me, or this misery has befallen on me, and now all I need to do is to stand up like a champion and accept it. So there is no point crying over spilt milk, and stop doing it, because if you do it, it wouldn't reward you, and it would not give you any benefit. And that's why you shouldn't do it. You should just forget about it And because it's no use crying over spilt milk. You would simply, make yourself look more pitiable, right? And then there is another expression, which is to cut a sorry figure. Now, to cut a sorry figure means to make a very poor impression. My subordinate made a lot of egregious mistakes, and at one point, I realized that he was in the habit of making mistakes. So whenever he would make a mistake, and during the explanation, he would cut a sorry figure. And I literally lost my patience with him, because he kept on repeating mistakes. He kept on making mistakes. And I was just like sick and tired of his mistake making behavior or demeanor. It really disturbed me a lot. It was pretty agonizing. To die in harness. Now, to die in harness means to die while doing one's duty, to die while performing one's duty. So hardworking people, industrious people, painstaking people, sometimes they die in harness. They don't want to sit idle. They don't want to become dependent on anyone else. They are people who believe in self-reliance, and obviously they die. They die in harness. They die in harness. So to die in harness means to die while doing one's duty. Now, another expression, which is a very good expression, by the way, and that expression is to end in smoke. Now, if something ends in smoke, it does not produce, or it fails to produce the desired result. Like you're expecting to get a desired result from something, but unfortunately, it fails to live up to your expectation. So then, obviously, you feel disappointed that why has this happened? Why has this ended in smoke? I made a lot of efforts to become a doctor, but all my efforts ended in smoke. Now, a red letter day. This is another beautiful expression. A red letter day means an auspicious day. Now, an auspicious day is a very happy day. It's a day that deserves celebration. The graduation ceremony of my brother was a red letter day for all my family. All my family was very happy with the graduation of my brother, and we all celebrated it with great pomp and show. Now, if you celebrate something with great pomp and show, you definitely show a lot of excitement, a lot of happiness, a lot of exuberance, and that's what it means, right? Now, another expression comes your way, dear viewers. I hope you all are enjoying this section, because this section is, flowing with dozens of brilliant English idiomatic and lexical expressions, essentially, that you obviously need to know for your communication and as well as for your writing purpose. The other expression is by leaps and bounds. Now, by leaps and bounds means to make progress rapidly. At a great speed. So that refers to, that means by leaps and bounds. In Pakistan, the IT sector is making progress by leaps and bounds. In Pakistan, the IT sector is making progress by leaps and bounds. Now, one last expression of today's live, discussion is Achilles heel. Now, Achilles heel means, it's like the susceptible spot of an individual, the weakest point in one's character. Not getting up early in the morning is definitely my Achilles heel. Not being able to write, good essays is my Achilles heel. Not being able to abandon smoking is my Achilles heel. And not being able to remember things is my Achilles heel. That's what it means, Achilles heel is the weakest point in an individual's character. I hope the session was enjoyable, and I hope you all enjoyed it. This is still the beginning of our online sessions, but I am definitely going to make it more improved and more prolific, and I would also try my level best to make it more enjoyable and more informative. We would be having proper formal classes as well, and we would also be having interactive sessions like the one we are having right now. So stay blessed, and thank you very much. Share it with your friends, and please, if you like what I'm doing on my channel, although it's still in its infancy, in embryonic stage, or it is still in its embryo, it's like in the nascent stage. But if you like what I'm doing, so please give it a subscribe to it and share it with your friends, and make it a success story, because you people can make it a success story. On my part, if you give me resounding response, then my input would definitely be more gigantic, it would be more impressive, and it would be more remarkable. I would come up with more interesting topics. Thank you very much. God bless you all.